Welcome everybody. My name is Avinash and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Face-to-Face Corporate Series. Friends, in this corporate series, we introduce to you emerging corporates and tell them about their business, their growth plans. And today we've got a very interesting company which is going to hit the SME market. The company's name is Synoptic Technologies Limited, and we have Mr. Jatin Shah, who's the managing director of the company. Jatin bhai, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time with us today, and we are pretty sure that you will share with us very good information about the company, which will make us understand your company's operations better.
Yeah, my pleasure, Avinash.
So, Jatin bhai, first question is if you could tell us briefly, what is the business model of our company and which are the segments we cater, and from when have we started the company? So, if you could add some color and begin.
Yeah, sure. See, basically, we started in the year 2008, so it's almost 15 years in business. So we are primarily focusing on giving networking solutions and IT services to all the customers, which includes enterprise customers, big corporates, SMBs, and even government customers.
Okay.
So we give LAN, WAN, wireless solutions, Wi-Fi rollouts, right, and smart city rollouts also. So this is what is our brief business model.
Okay. And I was reading your company's presentation that you got solutions and services, which are basically two branches which you offer. So within the solutions business and basically the services business, if you could tell us what are the various categories which you cater. So that will make us understand your business little more better.
Right. So in the solution space, what we do is we take projects, which includes hardware sale as well as operation and maintenance of the complete project, right? So, and on the services side, we already have got a virtual network operator license. So we give a lot of internet bandwidth to all the enterprise customers.
Okay.
So who has a distributed network and who has hundreds plus locations, their own presence, they take internet bandwidth from us.
Okay. And if I were to ask you, what is the breakup of services and solutions in our revenue broadly, what could it be like?
Yeah, so we are, the product sales is something around 40%, and 55 to 60% is our services business.
Okay, so basically, please correct me if I'm wrong, but services business is something which is recurring in nature, right? So it continues
yes.
at a steady
pace.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
and
you're right.
Jatin bhai, what are the total number of active customers we have as of now, if you combine both services and solutions?
So we have more than 150 plus customers nationally.
Okay, fine. And these are spread geographically all across Pan India?
Yeah, all across Pan India.
Okay, and if you could share some names, if you could share some of the few names where you are basically doing a solutions project or maybe a services project, that would really help us better.
Yeah, so while we have NDAs in place with all the customers, but just to name a few on the government side, we have Gujarat Informatics, we have Coforge, we have BSNL as our major customer, right?
Okay.
Then we have Chroma, we have Bank of Baroda Financial Services.
Okay, fine. I think very noticeable name. So thank you very much. Now tell me, Jatin, what is the opportunity size for our company to grow in the next 3-4 years? Like as a promoter, what do you think? What is the kind of demand potential? From the current level to basically in the next say 2 to 3 years, what kind of market opportunity is there for us, both within India and outside India?
So if you have gone through our RHP and prospectus, right, we have given the complete IT market sizing both in India and globally, right? So Indian market is more than $100 billion, right, on the IT services side. So we see a huge potential primarily because there are a lot of mid-sized customers and SMB customers going to the enterprise space, right? And the bigger customers also expanding their network and locations rapidly. So we see a huge demand coming in for our range of services.
Okay. And within that, companies which are going in for data centers, typically somebody who's doing digital. I mean, you all have mentioned that even data centers are one area where, possibly you all could grow. So if you could, share some, thoughts and views on data centers, because it's a very happening kind of market segment now. So there, exactly what can our company do?
So what we are doing is we are primarily focusing on giving managed services. So we are investing heavily on the resources, right? Who can help customers to migrate their legacy application to cloud. The moment
Okay.
customer expects that their legacy application should move to cloud, the next thing they need is the data center services. So we have already tied up with multiple data centers. So we
Okay.
become single point of contact for customers for their complete services.
Okay. Fine. Understood. Jatin bhai, another thing, tell me that, as a kind of company, do you want to take more wallet share from the existing customers? At the same time, you want to also add new customers. So what is the broad strategy the company is following?
So what we are doing this year is the plan we have is obviously the existing customers also there is a huge potential for cross-selling and upselling of different services. So obviously, it is easier to get business from the existing customer because they've already tasted the flavor of Synoptic services.
Yeah.
At the same time, expanding in multiple regions, and we are, targeting a lot of new customers also.
Okay. Now, tell me one thing, Jatin bhai, how is pricing decided in our business? Like, is it on a project to project basis or the kind of service you give to the customer? How is pricing done? And normally when you enter a contract with a customer, is it for 2 years, 3 years? What is the timeline of the contract?
Okay, so pricing obviously for any businesses, the price competitiveness has to be there in the market, right? Unless otherwise you will not be able to survive because there are so many players in the market. But at the same time, what is differentiating is the level of service that you give it to customer, right? So and second is there are a lot of different kind of solutions that we sell. So every solution has a different pricing model.
Okay. Okay, fine. So basically it's on a case to case basis. That's what you say, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, now tell me on the financial side, if you could give us some idea what has been the financials for the current year FY23 and what is the total leverage on the books?
Okay, so last year it is still under audit.
Okay.
However, we have crossed revenues of 50 crores,
Okay.
and we are envisaging a PAT of around 7 crores
Okay,
for
fine.
the last year.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fine. And basically, any idea on what is the total debt on the books?
That in the book should be around 15-16 crores.
Okay, 15, 16 crores. And currently, for the current year, that is for FY24, any kind of major capex plans if you could share?
No, so primarily we are focusing more on projects and services. So we may not require very high-end capex for servicing our customers.
Okay.
It is more of a OPEX kind of a requirement rather than the capex kind.
Okay, okay, understood. I think very well articulated. Now, Jatin bhai, if you could tell us something about your forthcoming IPO, what is the size of the IPO? What is the objective of the IPO? If you could share some details for us.
Yeah, so the IPO size is around 22.8 lakh shares, which comprises of around almost 27% dilution in the company. And we are looking at around 54 crore worth of money from this particular dilution.
Yeah.
Right. And the object of the issue primarily is some part will be used for debt repayment, right? Which is maybe whichever is a high cost debt for us, we'll replace that. And the balance is for working capital, expansion of business, and corporate expenses.
Okay, fine. And will this include a fresh issue as well as an open offer for sale?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so both the components will be by which you will be raising money is about 50 crores, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. And one more thing to understand more about the working capital part of the business, since you said we want to raise money for working capital, Jatin bhai, what is the normal working capital cycle in our business? Like how quickly do customers pay us?
Yeah, so we have multiple different, verticals of customers, right? So when it comes to enterprise customers or private customers, our payments are generally in the range of 60 days after we bill, right?
Okay.
And some of the government customers, as you know, the payment cycle may be longer, so it can be 90 to 120 days.
Okay, fine. And now talking about the competitive landscape of our business, you mentioned that there are other competitors also. I mean, it happens in every business. Now, tell me, in such a competitive scenario, what is the differentiation which you give to customers? Like, what is so special about Synoptics that they come to you, they do business with you? So, farak kya hai? Like, how are you, positioned vis-a-vis your competition in terms of the quality of your services?
So, see, the major differentiator that we have is our team and manpower, because in a services-driven organization, your asset is your employees, right?
Exactly.
So we have very good quality team members in the company, right? Who actually makes a lot of difference because they are very reactive to support customers. And we have been there in the market for almost 15 years now. We have seen a lot of companies like fly-by-night operators kind of a thing. They come, they give aggressive pricing, but they can't sustain the business. And in 2, 3, 4 years, they wind up.
Yeah.
While we have been staying in the business for almost 15 years now, that itself says a lot about our stability of the company.
Exactly. Okay. Now tell me one thing, Jatin bhai. Now since we are seeing normalcy coming in, COVID has now gone away. Everything is normal. Like in your sense, over the next say 2 years, could it be safe to assume that our top line can comfortably grow by at least 18-20%, and margins could at least be maintained at the level at which we are working, or do we expect these numbers to get better? I mean, at least some thoughts on these data points, please.
No, so with COVID at the back, so now we definitely see normalcy in the customer spending, and we see a lot of huge uptake in the market, right? Even our customers or new customers also, they are expanding rapidly. They are also building their business models. So we see a huge potential for our range of services. In fact, why only 20%? We are gunning for 40, 50, 60% revenue on the growth on the revenue side.
Okay.
And yes, as we grow, when the numbers are bigger, maintaining the same level of profitability, is very challenging. However,
Yeah.
we'll try and do whatever best is possible once we have economy of scale in the business.
I think now you all are still small. I think 50 crores revenue, Jatin bhai, is still small. So, percentage growth will be significantly better, as
Yes,
you rightly mentioned.
yes,
Tell me one
yes,
thing, Jatin bhai, like every business, there is some risk in the business always. Like, of course, COVID was
yes,
a very abnormal risk, for everybody. But, in our
right.
business, according to you, what is the main risk which you have to do a little bit of, risk mitigation to ensure that, all things are okay? I mean, despite challenges, you continue to grow.
So there are two risks that we envisage in the business. One is the manpower attrition, because nowadays, being a service-driven organization, employees are your asset. So we'll try and do whatever it takes to retain our good quality resources,
Yeah.
right? And at the same time, leveraging too much on long gestation projects. We would like to stay away from them because it severely hurts your cash flow cycles also, right? So we'll be very selective in taking projects. However, we are sure that there are a lot of projects in the offering, so we'll get what we want.
Okay. Okay. Jatin bhai, one more question on the product side. Like I was
Yeah,
reading your presentation on the services, and on the services side, any other
yeah.
new services kind of vertical which the company is working on? Like whatever you can share, because I believe you have to be innovative and you've got to be proactive in our
Right,
business.
right,
So anything else
right.
new you all are working which could possibly again drive your revenue engine over the next say couple of years?
So as all of us know, security is a big threat for all the enterprises today, and your entire application needs to be secured,
Yeah.
right? So we are, getting into security operations center business, right? We have already closed 1 or 2 deals with government customers. At the same time, we are investing heavily on hiring good quality security professionals, which
Okay.
will help us roll out SOC as a service, which is called as
Okay.
Security Operations Center as a service.
Okay.
And through this, we can serve customers not only in India, but then the vision is to go global.
Okay. And how many total employees do you have now? I mean, you all are based in Mumbai, right?
Yeah. So as per RHP, as of December 31st, we had 575 plus employees
Okay, fine.
and headquartered in Mumbai.
Okay. Jatin bhai, last question now that you all are all ready for the company's SME IPO, which is opening on the 30th. Just one small message if you could give to the forthcoming investors, how would you reward them in the longer term?
See, obviously, as per SEBI guidelines, we cannot commit certain numbers. However, one thing I can assure all our potential investors is that the market is ripe for our kind of services, and there is a huge potential waiting to be offered by the market. India story is actually selling worldwide, right? And we being in India and growing rapidly, so we can only assure that, okay, we'll put whatever it takes and we'll put a lot of efforts to ensure that investor money is protected.
Anyway, I think Jatin bhai, thank you very much for your valuable time. And I think viewers, we got a very good insight into what Jatin bhai said about the company. If you do like the video, please like it and share it. And Jatin bhai, once again, before I conclude, thank you very much and best wishes to you for the IPO as well as for your entire management team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.